Not a drop of blood was left in her body. You know, you think vampires are fake, they're not real? You think that that's just some story? They're real. They exist, and they're in Beaver Dams. Beaver Dams is actually known for Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I'd never go out there and... Are you kidding me? On a night like tonight? All this fog coming in? You'll end up getting billy clubbed by a Bigfoot. They'll drag you off. You're not coming back. You'll be lucky if you make it out alive. If you walk in those woods at night, you better have guns and dogs with you.
Today, we're talking about Bigfoot, and answering the big age-old question, is Bigfoot real? Who is Bigfoot? Bigfoot is considered to be one of the most infamous cryptids in North America, gaining its notoriety from the increase of first-hand accounts pertaining to a large ape-like creature roaming the woods. It goes by many names, and appears to have a constant presence in all North American cultures. The indigenous people of North America would tell a tale of a Sasquatch, a wild, hairy man that would roam the woods. Similarly to that, throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, frontiersmen and miners would begin to share stories about a hairy creature that would inhabit the woods. Although these stories deviate in some aspects, they all point to a single kind of creature. Let's flash forward to the late 1950s. Andrew Genzoli, a journalist of the Humboldt Times, received a letter from a reader about loggers finding mysteriously large footprints. Thinking that it'd be a great story for the paper, he decided to add it to his next column. This article was well received, and so Genzoli began to write a series related to similar findings, later naming the owner of the footprints as Bigfoot. With this newfound publicity in an age of information, the legend of Bigfoot began to rise in popularity, ending up deep-seated within pop culture. Now let us answer the question, is Bigfoot real? Today there's a lot of speculation about the existence of Bigfoot and the evidence around it. Although there is no theory that is 100% conclusive, we can narrow it down to a few possibilities. Let's look at one of the most divisive pieces of evidence on Bigfoot. The Patterson-Gimlin film, shot in 1967 in Northern California, by Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin. This film depicts a Bigfoot, later named Patty, walking in a forest. Although the film is not clear, reimaging and stabilization techniques have been applied to fully scrutinize the film. While researching the topic, I came across the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, and decided to go to their website. Despite it looking very dated, the website became a good way to research a Bigfooter's point of view. Looking through their website, it appears that they hold the Patterson-Gimlin film as definitive proof of Bigfoot's existence, and denounce any allegations otherwise. As a matter of fact, they dedicate an entire section of their website to debunking any allegations against the film. They argue on the basis on whether the subject in the film is a costume or not. They then continue to state that making a similar costume, one akin to the realism displayed in the film, would be impossible during the 1960s, citing the 1968 movie, The Planet of the Apes. If the film is in fact fake, a costume man, or a machine, surely science could duplicate the film with ease. 20 years later, no one has come close. Bigfooter and journalist Daniel Perez, 1992. Another allegation against the film is that it was faked for publicity purposes. Although very little is known about Patterson and Gimlin prior to the film, it can be reasoned that if this film was fake, it was done in the hopes of becoming popular and famous. Today, many people use legends of ghosts and aliens to gain public notoriety. A good example of this is Peter Kane's Dog Train, in which he uses a plethora of supernatural phenomena, which he uses as a basis for many of his videos. In all, there are 3 theories that can explain the existence of Bigfoot. One is that it only exists through pop culture and amongst those who yearn for fame. 2 is that it is a byproduct of misinterpreted events and vivid imaginations. And 3, Bigfoot is real and exists. Out of the 3, I think number 1 is the most plausible. Thinking about the origins of Bigfoot into the mainstream, we can see with Genzoli's article that the idea of Bigfoot, or a legend in general, is enjoyed by the masses, and in turn creates a trend of, oh, I've seen Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. And that is why I believe that is the most. In terms of least likely, I believe that number 2 is. Of course, crazy people exist. However, all of the sighting and videos, especially the Kristen Gimlin film, regardless of it being fake or real, was done by intelligent people and those who know their way around, like cameras, effects, and all that kind of stuff. It is the seemingly hard and concrete evidence that makes people believe in Bigfoot, not a hearsay said by someone wandering around in the woods. What I think is fascinating about Bigfoot is the amount of people who believe in him, and how many people just believe off of like a really bad film or a bundle of hair or footprints on the ground. I guess people will believe in anything, and that's probably why even in the future people will still believe in Bigfoot. And if that's not the case, I guess we've all been like brainwashed or something.